Hello, and welcome to the English with Colin Podcast, a podcast for English language learners. My name's Colin, I'm an English teacher in Tokyo, and if you're looking to improve your English skills and gain more confidence in your ability to communicate in English, you've come to the right place. In these episodes, I'll provide you with short conversations in English that cover a range of topics, from everyday situations to more specialised subjects. These conversations are designed to help you practice your listening skills and pick up new vocabulary and grammar along the way. Regular listening practice is key to improving your English, and I hope this podcast will become a valuable resource for you on your language learning journey. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation. And remember, the more you listen, the more you'll learn. This is episode 39, and today's topic is Kaiten Sushi, how to enjoy conveyor belt sushi in Japan. Hello, Sue.
Hey.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm very well. I guess the first thing to explain here, what is Kaiten? Now, Kaiten Sushi or Kaiten Sushi? Kaiten, it's referring to this conveyor belt, this sushi that kind of runs on a track through the restaurant. And the sushi is usually pronounced zushi, kaiten zushi, rather than sushi. So the S changes to a Z sound. But anyway, this is what we're talking about today, this kind of conveyor belt sushi. Do you like going to those kind of places?
I love it. I like kaiten sushi. We used to have a favorite one in Shinjuku, and it was a little bit hidden.
It was in like the basement.
It was like a basement. It was this stairs, open stairs, really onto, like very wide.
Yeah.
And you would go down to the basement, and it was just like a circle.
It hadn't been updated in decades.
I'm sure,
yeah.
And I really liked it. Because they had all the plates where they put the sushi, and it was like towers, and these towers would go around sometimes.
Oh, right. On the track.
On the track.
Yes.
But it was incredibly cheap, but it was delicious, and they had like 8 chefs, I think. It was like 8 of them, and they each were going through different types of sushi. So some of them would be doing some salmon, another would be making some, I don't know, whatever. Tuna.
Yeah.
And it was little by little.
Right. So they all had their kind of speciality, like, this is what I'm working on.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, no, that's true, and it's closed, that place.
It is. It was a shame, but it was great.
Yeah, maybe it was too cheap. Maybe the prices were too low, but it was good. It had been there for a long, long time, and if you go there at lunch, it was very, very busy, and also after work. So quality. We talked about price. Kaiten sushi, generally, they're affordable. That's kind of the point.
Yeah, they're good price.
You do get more fancy versions, and then you get more kind of budget versions. But the quality is going to be decent. In Japan, bad quality sushi restaurants don't survive.
No.
So the quality, even the budget places, the quality is going to be good, I would say. So let's start with the basics. Ordering. So you go in, you get taken to your now it might be a table where you're kind of sitting opposite the person you're with, or you might be at a counter with the conveyor belt in front of you.
Yes.
So anyway, you sit down wherever you happen to be. You sit down, and how do you order?
You have usually like an iPad kind of.
Yeah, some kind of touch screen.
Some type of touch screen, and that is your menu. And in that menu, it's usually pictures. Some have an English version, some don't.
Mm-hmm.
But they usually are just pictures, and you can really see what it is.
So the sushi is usually categorized.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the nigiri sushi, the sort of traditional rice with a bit of fish on top. You might have the rolls, the maki rolls.
The cones.
Yes.
Some do.
Indeed.
And then some soups, like a miso soup. Yes, and it usually goes by prices.
Yeah.
Which is something that you should also have a look at.
What do you mean goes by prices?
So there's different prices for different fish. So there's the cheaper fish and there's the expensive, like a very fatty tuna. Those might be expensive. And they come in different color plates.
Right.
So, but in the touch screen, they will, like, how they come is by groups. Like, these are more or less the same price.
Right. So the group by price.
They're grouped by price. So the first ones are always the cheapest, and as you kind of move along to see what else there is, it starts to get more expensive.
Okay.
So yeah, you can eat a lot and very cheap, or you can eat less and maybe a little, just like really fatty tuna or
true.
Fatty salmon.
It's an important thing because you need to keep track of the price.
Yes.
And you on the touchscreen you can check what your current bill is if you need to. But yeah, always, before you order, 5 plates of whatever, make sure you're checking the price.
Also, I think usually you cannot order too many plates at the same time.
That's true, yeah.
Maybe 2 per person.
You don't want, lots of plates coming at the same time because, they're not going to be very fresh when they arrive. Yes. So the conveyor belt itself, there will be plates going around, and the plates will be different colors. So you might have a red plate, a yellow plate, a blue plate, a black plate, or whatever. And yeah, the different colored plates are different prices.
You would usually, there's some wall that has the prices with those dishes.
Yeah, or maybe like a little
plates.
card next to the seats to kind of say, this plate is, 150 yen, this plate is 250 yen.
It's very clear. You will not miss it. They don't really hide it.
Yeah. In my experience, black is usually expensive.
Yes. Reddish, black, gold. That starts getting expensive.
Indeed. So yeah, you can get you can get plates as they pass by, or you can order on the touchscreen, and maybe a waitress will bring it to you, or maybe the chef will give it to you directly, or in some kaiten sushi places, there will be a little train track where the sushi is delivered to you on a little machine, sometimes made to look like a bullet train.
Yes.
Which is very fun.
You hear a sound, and that means it's coming.
Yeah.
And then it arrives, and you take your plate, and then you push a button. So the train
goes back.
Don't push that button before you grab your
yes, or
your plate.
Your food is going back to the kitchen.
Exactly. So be careful with that.
Yeah. So yeah, there's slightly different systems depending on the place. So yeah, we've covered the color coding. There's also sometimes very seasonal foods as well.
Yeah.
And they'll be a bit more expensive, usually, I would say.
Yeah, many places you have like the offer of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and sometimes it's more expensive. Sometimes it's the fish that is in season.
Yeah.
Which is always worth it because you know it's going to be quite good.
Yeah. You also get little kind of sets where you can compare certain. So, for example, tuna, the different kind of grades of tuna. So you can have very lean tuna, which means very little fat, all the way up to like the fattiest tuna, which is the most expensive.
Yeah, they might give you like 4. Usually they come in 2s, right?
Two pieces per plate.
Per plate of the same.
Right.
But when you order, there's this other type of order that will get you 4, and it would be a variation of the same fish.
Yeah.
And those are quite good to try as well.
Yeah, especially if you're kind of new to sushi, or maybe you really want to see what the difference is, you know. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. An important part is also, well, for me, having a nice cup of hot green tea.
Yes, I think that's in my head. It goes together. It's hand in hand. You have some sushi, and there's always hot green tea.
Yeah, so you usually there's a little container with the green tea powder. So it's not a tea bag; it's actually a green tea powder, and there will be the tiniest spoon you have ever seen in your life, and you just take 1 spoon of this. And that's all you need. That's the amount of green tea that you need. And then there will be a little kind of mechanism where you push your cup against usually this kind of black button.
Yeah.
And as you push that, the hot water goes into your cup. But just be very careful. You don't need very much of that green tea powder.
No, 1. It's fine.
Yeah, 1 is all you need.
More than enough.
And as you drink your green tea, you can top it up with hot water. And very rarely would you need to add green tea powder to it. So it does go a long way. A little goes a long way.
But the cups are usually there, like in the counter or next to your table. So that's something that you can very quickly just sit down and get yourself some green tea.
Yeah. These places are, I would say they're quite family friendly.
They are.
We talked about the more traditional places in the last episode, and they are more for business people, fancy people, grown-ups, shall we say. But these kaiten sushi, especially if you go at the weekend, you know, daytime during the weekend, there's going to be families there, and kids love it. Yes. Kids really love going to sushi because usually they can order whatever they want. So you will see tiny children with a stack of like 10 plates next to them, and they've just eaten all this sushi. So yeah, very, very popular. Usually a bit more lively, a bit more noisy. So yeah, a very different kind of atmosphere.
They also have like a menu that could be a little bit more for kids because, I mean, you can think about sushi places. It's going to be sushi and maybe a little bit of soup.
Yeah.
But no, these places usually have some fried food.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Fried potatoes, French fries.
Sometimes karage.
Yeah, the fried chicken.
Yeah. So.
And one thing that I have seen is the sushi where you've got rice and then on top there's a sausage. So instead of fish, you would have a sausage, like a whole sausage, which it obviously sounds wrong, but if a kid doesn't like fish that much, they need some options. So yeah, you'll find some more family friendly items. You'll also see desserts, little custard puddings or ice cream or whatever, those kind of things. So yeah, no, these are fun places to go. Very affordable, and all over the place. There's a lot of different chains. The ones that I think are most common in Tokyo, Sushiro, is one of the biggest chains. There's also Kurazushi,
also quite popular,
which is very popular. My students, I don't know if it's just the region that we're in, but that's the one that they talk about. I don't know if it's particularly good value or whatever, but in fact, I think that is one that has the mini bullet train. I think they have that system. So if you're looking for that experience, Kurazushi would be the way to go. The other two that I know are Hamazushi and Genki Sushi, which is the one that I used to go to when I was in Niigata. So yeah, different regions may have different chains, but I think those ones are pretty common across the country, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, I think it's a good experience if you're traveling on a budget. Then the kaiten sushi is a great way to go to have some really nice sushi and a nice relaxed dining experience. So yeah, again, I think I want to go and have some sushi. So yeah, we need to stop talking about food in this podcast, but I don't think it's going to happen. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the English with Colin podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening to the conversation and found it helpful in your language learning journey. Remember, the key to mastering a language is regular practice. So make sure you listen to our podcast regularly and keep honing your listening skills. We appreciate your support and feedback. So if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for future topics, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. You can find our contact information in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to joining you again next time for another conversation in English. Until then, keep practicing and take care.